welcome to my first podcast. It's a crafting podcast, mostly based around knitting and spinning, but also I do a lot of handcrafts like soap making and home remedies and such like, so I will be touching on those subjects too. My name is Mel, and online I often go by Mad Mel. On any of the social media platforms, that's where you'll find me if you look up Mad Mel. I'm mostly active on Instagram, but I do pick up on Facebook. I am on Ravelry, but I don't tend to be involved with the forum threads on Ravelry. But you can find anything I'm working on Ravelry is usually on there. I also have madmadamel.com, and I have my Etsy store, so just Google and you'll find me somewhere. Like I said, I wanted this to be a crafting podcast. The last few months I've been watching a lot of podcasts. I tend to use them as my background material when I'm doing any sort of crafting myself. So if I'm knitting, I'll be watching someone else talking about knitting or spinning or such like. And I thought it seemed like a really fun thing to do. I thought I'd give it a go. It might not work out, we'll give it a try. So yeah, so let's say a bit more about me. It's my first podcast, so a bit more about me. I live on Orkney, which is a small group of islands off the north coast of Scotland, and I live here with my husband, and we have two little kittens, about 5 months old now, Willow and Holly. We also keep ducks and chickens. We have what in the UK we call a small holding, and over the water is often called like a small homestead. We have just under an acre, and we grow some of our own vegetables, with hoping to expand that once we finish all the renovation work on the cottage. We moved to Orkney about over 8 years ago now. We first visited Orkney 10 years ago when my mum was living up here for a while, and we just love it. It's cold 9 months of the year, but it's nice, and you know, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else now. Let's think anything else. I'm sure I'll tell little bits and bobs on different podcasts as things occur to me, but if you have any questions or I'd like to know anything, just ask me down below and I'll try and remember to put it in a future podcast. So as I was saying, I was mostly knitting and spinning, so as is traditional now with podcasting, let's get on with objects and start with, I will start with WIPs because I've left my finished objects in the other room and I will have to stop, pause the video and come back. So WIPs, works in progress. Well, I have to try and not look at the screen. I have 3 works in progress knitting at the moment, 2 of which are socks. I have a bit of a sock thing going on at the moment. I'm knitting a lot of socks. I usually have at least 1 pair on the go anyway, a vanilla sock for travelling. So I currently have 2 vanilla socks actually. I have, let's see what we've got. I've got what I'm calling my autumn socks. And this is the second sock, so this pair is almost finished. And this is, I'll just go down, that's this, I'll show you. That's, I don't know if you can see that, it's a self-patterning yarn. I love self-patterning yarns for vanilla socks. I hand dye yarns for Etsy for a living, well, for a business. But I love self-patterning yarn. Actually, I naturally dye botanical dye yarns, but I still love nicely acid dyed, uncommercial dyed self-patterning yarns. This one is from Rico Designs, and it's Superbar Bamboo Superwash, and it's in the tan khaki colourway. And the pattern I'm using is by Jo Tor, and I'm looking down here at the pattern. It's a vanilla sock with gusset and choice of reinforced heel, so not a glamorous name, but it is really, this has actually become my favourite vanilla sock knitting pattern. It's really easy. I really like the heel turn on it, and I've done a eye partridge. I'm just looking at the screen. Eye partridge heel on it. Oh, I'm gonna show you this. I'll get that in. It's so cute. Let me try and see if I can get the light just right. It is a little Halloween kitty cat progress marker. I got that from Fripperies and Bibliots. She sells, I think that's right, she sells stitch markers, and that they've usually got a little progress mark in with the themed stitch markers. I love that. I've got some candy cane ones too. So this is my first WIP, and I'm hoping to get that done really soon because it's obviously nearly done, and that's the second sock. And using the same pattern, I'm also using some of this beautiful yarn here. Let's try and get my face out of shot. From Mothie and the Squid. I love her colourways, her dyes, they are gorgeous. I botanically dye, but like I said, I love acid dyes as well, and that is just beautiful. And this is called Iced Gingerbread, and I'm knitting the same sock pattern as the previous one with a brown toe. That's her chocolate cake colourway, and then you can see the self striping Iced Gingerbread. I don't know this one because it's different there. That's so pretty. Same pattern. And I just love socks. Later on we're going out for lunch, and I will be knitting these in the car when my husband drives, because that's where I do a lot of my sock knitting. So, third knitting WIP even, is kind of in hibernation, but I really want to get this done this year. I started this cardigan over a year ago. In fact, I took it with me when I walked the Great Glen Way with my mum in my rucksack. Never did any while I was away, but the idea was that. But it's this pattern here, if you can see that, and it's the Gnarled Oak cardigan by Never Not Knitting. Alana Dacos, I'm not sure, and I've only got that much done. That's how bad. But I want to get this finished. The yarn I'm using is this one. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but it's a DK weight, I believe. Yeah, it's a DK weight, and that's why it's taken me so long. And the colourway is 311. I'm not sure what that is. I can't remember, and I haven't got my Ravelry page up. So anyway, I've been working on this for quite some time, and I love the pattern. It's just such a big object, a cardigan. Socks are so much quicker, but more gratifying. But anyway, that is my other hibernated one. Now, I want to get this finished this year. I really want to challenge myself this year. I want to do some stranded colour work. I really want to do the Hare and the Tortoise wristies by Kate Davis. I have had the yarn for a long time now, so, and I really want to do that. And there's a stranded hat I want to do that as well. So I want to get certain things out of the way. So this is coming out of hibernation now. This is going to get worked on. Okay, moving on to a spinning WIP. I'm halfway through spinning this yarn. It's a Halloween yarn. This is the first half of it. I'd intended using this as self-striping sock yarn, but I'm not sure now. We'll see, because it's merino, but there's no nylon in it. So if I do use it, it's going to have to be for indoor socks. Look, truthfully, I spend a lot of time at home. I don't leave I do leave the house, but it tends to be to go skating. So I'm not going to be wearing hand knit socks for skating anyway. So this should be fine. And all I did was I got a couple of mystery pot blends from World of Wool, and I pulled them apart and put together the colours for a Halloween yarn. So I split it and pulled them into little floofs of fur, and just basically span them end to end repeatedly, one after another, and I've chain ply this. So self-striping. So that is my current WIPs. Now I I will go and fetch my finished object. Okay, actually my first finished object I have been fetched is both a knitting and spinning finished object. In fact, both of them are. Anyway, these were a pair of Christmas socks. Oh, Christmas themed socks that I knit for myself. They're kind of house socks. They're quite chunky. They're coming, and they got sparkle and sparkles. So the peppermint and the red stripe in the body here were again from one of those mystery pots. They are merino, and I put some mulberry silk in with the minty green, and I put some Trilobal nylon or Fire Star. I'm pretty sure that's not going to pick up on camera. If I could put it end on maybe. In with the green and red. It's kind of greeny shades. It's not really showing up. But what I did was I miscalculated how much I needed. So I thought, oh yeah, I'm just having a moment. I was thinking, oh yeah, I usually use about, you know, 65, 70 grams worth to knit a pair of socks. So I pulled out all that amount of fibre, a little bit more, and I spun it and self-striped it, and started to knit and realised I would only have enough to go at the heels. So the ankles are completely different yarn. They are a Polwarth, a red dyed Polwarth fibre, and I put different sparkles in. I didn't put the Fire Star in this, or rather I didn't use the same Fire Star. I ordered 2 custom bats from Nicole at Frost Yarn for my birthday coming up this week, and I haven't opened them properly, so I'll have to film that. I've kind of seen them in the bag but not actually opened them out properly. But in it she had a little bag of sparkles, leftover sparkles and shiny bits. So there was some red Fire Star and there was some silver Angelina in there. So I pulled out some of those and mixed it in with the Polwarth to spin up the extra I needed. So that's what they are. So they look really odd, but I don't care. I do care, but I'm not really that bothered. So that's my first finished object, both spinning and knitting. My second one is a bit of a hodgepodge. For Christmas I decided at last minute to knit my husband a pair of boot socks or welly socks. He gets really cold feet, and I wanted a really thick pair of socks that would stand up to being in boots, and he could put over the top of another pair of socks. So I knitted these hodgepodges, and these are a hodgepodge, and I'll explain why. I knitted these I'm looking at the screen again, 4 strands together. Not easy. And the reason I did that was I had some hand spun I made a while back. When I first started natural dyeing, I first started playing around with it about a year after I moved in, so about 7 years ago. And I dyed some Tencel that I had left over from learning how to spin. And there was like a pale apricot colour, and there was some that was well, you can see in this, it's kind of a murky yellowy green, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I'd made some roll-eggs, and then it sat around doing nothing for years. And then a couple of years ago I decided to finish making the roll-eggs, and I made a bunch of self-striping yarn with it, and then left over I had some of the apricot colour left, and that's a separate yarn as well, and I chain plied it. So I still didn't, and then the yarn sat about because I don't know what to do with it. It's Tencel, you know, you're kind of limited on what you can do with Tencel. But I thought it would be perfect for these. It's really warm. It was lofty because it was done from roll-eggs, so it was worsted, not worsted, woolen. But pure wool socks are not going to last up very well in a pair of wellies. So what I did was I had some lace weight in like a foxy brown pure wool. That were random balls from the charity shop years ago. So I used 2 strands of those, and to give it extra strength, I used a ball of a mohair acrylic wool blend. I used the mohair to give it that strength, like I said. So I don't really have a problem with any sort of wool. I love all different types of yarn. I'm happy to use pure wool. I'm happy to use indie dyed yarns. I like using an acrylic wool blend is perfect for throw it in the machine stuff. As an example, my mum made me 2 knitted snoods for around the garden, and they're great. They are style craft with wool, so they're 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and you get mud on them and you just throw them in the machine. In fact, I just bought myself a great big 400-gram bowl of the same stuff in a silver grey, because I want to knit a hat and a cowl that I can use outside. We do have animals, and you get mucky and you get stuff on you really don't want on your hats and stuff, so that you can just take them off, throw in the machine, and they'll come out fine. Lucy from Attic 24, she uses those 100% acrylic Stylecraft special DK for doing her blankets, and they're gorgeous, and it's perfect because the kids can get sticky stuff on them, and then you can just throw them in the machine and they come out perfectly fine. So I have no problems with any sorts of yarns. They all have that place. So if you happen to go on Ravelry and see my stash, there is everything from really fancy yarns to hand spun yarns through to like random fluffy acrylic stuff that I've picked up from the charity shop over the years. But it all has a use, and hopefully I want to get through some of that stash this year, but we'll see how time goes. I'd love to. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, I knit these socks for Christmas. Unfortunately, I got as far as there on the second sock, toe up, and I'd ran out of the foxy yarn. So it actually has got a slightly different yarn in the cuff on one sock, which is actually 100% acrylic, but my husband couldn't tell. So brown is brown, grey is grey. And the toes, I do currently all my toes toe up, and I use a Turkish cast on. I love Turkish cast on, it's so seamless. I think it's very similar to what's that one, there's another one, I can't remember the name, I've never done it. No, the name's lost on me, but there's another one similar that's really popular. But Turkish cast on, look it up on YouTube, it's really easy. Yeah, it's really easy. Oh, and the pattern for that one is, I'm trying to remember, I had forgotten, I had to go look. It's Warm and Cozy Socks by Linden Down. Really easy pattern, really easy short row heel on them. Good for boot socks. In fact, I've got a load of that Tencel still left. I'll probably end up knitting at least another pair, probably 2 pairs with the same, and again holding something else with it to strengthen it. So next, I've got loads of hand spun, but that's not to hand. On to notable acquisitions. Now, it's been Christmas, so there's been lots of acquisitions. I ordered a bunch of fibres for my Christmas present, my Christmas box, and I left it, I kind of looked at them a bit, but then put them away, and I haven't been able to do anything with them until like Christmas has passed. So I mentioned that I'd ordered 2 custom bats from Frost Yarn, but I haven't opened them yet, so I will show you them next time. But I've ordered quite a few nice rovings, so this is what I'm planning on spinning, and ideas what I'm going to use it for. Not all of the fibre, because you know that would be silly, but just the really notable stuff. So first is a rainbow painted roving. I don't know whether to call it roving, it's not tops, it is definitely roving, from the Shepherd's Hut, also known as CJP Fibres on Instagram. I follow her on Instagram. and it's a rainbow, and it is in Blueface Leicester and Trilobal Nylon, also known as Firestar. I don't know, Firestar's a brand name, but really it's the same stuff. Trilobal Nylon, and it is really nice. I love Blueface Leicester. It's so easy to spin. You don't have to think. You can just, it spins itself. And I love Trilobal Nylon. I had plans for this. Now, since I bought this, I've actually bought a couple of other rainbow packs, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to use this or the other ones for this project in mind. But I originally bought this with the idea of, when I was a child, I had a pair of leg warmers, and the top half was sky blue and the bottom third was also sky blue, and in the middle was this band of rainbow. I have a photo from when I was a kid on Facebook somewhere. Maybe I'll post it at some point. Anyway, when I'm knitting them, and I wanted to recreate, not as a leg warmer because I don't really wear leg warmers, but as a sock, so maybe some slouchy socks or something like that. So this is what I bought this for, and I might still use it. I don't know yet, but that's the plan for that. And this, yes, I said this is some CJP fibres, and on Etsy she is the shepherd's hood. Next we have this. This is a new fibre to me. I've never spun this, so if anybody's got any tips on spin this or what I can use it for, let me know. This is Masham or Masham. I'm not sure. I think it's Masham, M-A-S-H-A-M, and it is a gorgeous gradient. It's really long staple length, and it's almost, I wouldn't say hair-like, but it's kind of got that feel to it. It kind of feels like somebody's plait. So I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I love a gradient, and I really love the colours. So if you've got any ideas, let me know in the comments below. Now that I bought from the Naked Skein on Etsy. These have all come from Etsy. Next up, we have this yarn. Isn't that Bonnie? I have a one called Bonnie, but this isn't it. It just looks Bonnie. And I don't know if that is more orange, that colour. That's the colour it is. It's showing up very well. It's got like navy blue and yellow and red and orange in it. It's an unusual combination. I really like it. And that came from Etsy again. That was from Arty Fibres, and that's a superwash merino nylon blend. I'm really tempted to fractal spin this one and make some socks for John, my husband, but I don't know yet. Merino's quite soft. You might wear through really, really quick. Or something else, maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I'm very tempted to spin. I want to spin this fractally, or something similar to a fractal spin. But possibly for something, because it's got the nylon in, but I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean it has to be used for socks. But that's really, it's really soft as well. It's really nice. Okay, next three rovings are all from the same company. They're all from the same dyer, and this is the last of the acquisitions for today. First one we have, and these are all even created by LCB over in America. I hate having to pay import duties, but I love so many things from there. And this is the first colourway. See that very well. I don't know if the colours are going to show. Oh, it shows it pretty well. And that's spiced cider, and that is a superwash Blueface Leicester. I do love Blueface Leicester. It's so soft. It's so soft. Yeah, that's spice cider. And the next one from her, the one that's called Bonnie, is a Rambouillet. I have yet to spin Rambouillet. I've actually got some undyed Rambouillet to dye myself, actually. I just haven't done it yet. And that's, oh, let me get it in shot. It's a colourway, it's called Bonnie. And I think this is actually a one of a kind. So unfortunately it's not repeatable. I don't know if she's got any more, but it's so pretty. It's got like an emeraldy green in there, almost an emeraldy green, and like a dusky pink, and a pale lemony yellow, and like an apricot in there, and a bit of a dusky grey. It's really pretty. This rambouillet is so fluffy. It's like polyester wadding. In the fact that it's so squidgy. It's so squidgy. So I have no idea what I'm going to use this for. Absolutely no idea. But I just love the colours. I just absolutely love the colours. I love a really nice rich green. And I like interesting combinations. That's why I picked that one, because of the navy with everything. It just was interesting, and I just thought this colour was just interesting. This is me pulling the ends out. Interesting. And that's a rambouillet, again created by LCB. Anyway, the third colourway is a Polworth Tencel Blend. Oh, that's not looking right on camera. That's not how it really looks. Let me try and catch the light right. Oh no, it does look on that. It's paler on one side. Anyway, it's all different shades of pinky shades. Look at that. Look at the shine on that. That's the Tencel. That's so shiny. Try opening it up a bit. But it's a mixture of it's like a livery red. That sounds really weird. But it's got that kind of browniness to it, but it isn't really brown. And it's got this like cerise pink and like a dusky pink and like a salmony pink there, and it's just really pretty. It's a little pale. Can't get the light. Is this reflecting the light too much? This Tencel. It's like that's actually like a candy floss, like a sponge sugar pink. It's really pretty. And this is called Briar Rose, and I love it. I want to have a bit more pink in my wardrobe. Not really loads of pink, but you know, accessories. A lot of my stuff's quite dull colours at the moment, and I wanted something a little brighter. And I used to wear quite a bit of like pinky bits when I was at college, so second time I was at college. So I thought that would make a really nice, I don't know, cowl or a shawl or something. So that is my last acquisition for this podcast. Created by LCB. Her colourways are gorgeous. Same with Frost. I can't wait to open my bats. Frost Yarn, she makes the most sparkly bats you've ever seen. They're just, if you want bright colours and sparkle, she is your girl. She is just the queen of sparkle. So much Angelina, so much Firestar. It's gorgeous. Okay, moving on from acquisitions. Let's see if there's anything else I want to touch on. What have I been up to? Because it's been Christmas, it's been the holidays, so there hasn't been a lot of handcraft making. I've been making stuff for Christmas gifts. I've made chocolates and stuff like that to send away, but nothing really for the house or anything like that. But I have got some things I need to make very soon. I have to make some overnight hand cream. I ran out. I'm reliant upon a day cream, shop bought one, a nice one, but it's a day cream. I need something a bit heavier for at night, so I have that to make. And I ran out of homemade soap quite a while back, so I need to make a big batch of that as well. And what I'll do is, if I'm making instructional videos, I'll talk about them in the podcast, but I'll make separate. If I'm going to do an instructional video, I'll do them separate and record them separate and upload those separate. Like I have in the past, I've uploaded previous videos for instructional things like the deodorant and stuff. I'll do them separate so they're easy to find and what have you, but I will talk about them in the podcast and give a brief overview of what I've done. What else do I need to do soon? I'm not sure. Those are the things that spring to mind anyway. So I will talk about them and what I've used in them. I was trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention. not that if you have any comments, if you have any questions rather, anything you'd like me to talk about, feel free to put them below in the comments, and I will be recording another podcast very soon, because I'll be getting unwrapping those bats, and I'd like to film them and put that in amongst the podcast. And I will be finishing off socks, and I have a couple of other projects I'm really excited about getting casted on. Obviously there will be more socks. In fact, the next pair of socks will be for my husband, and I'm going to use this. I love, actually I really like this sock yarn. That is Pigeon Toes colourway. I love commercial sock yarns. Are great for vanilla socks. I'd like to do some other socks this year that aren't vanilla, some more patterns, not just like blueberry waffle, but ones with lace and stuff in them. So I will be using different yarns for that, but for a vanilla sock, that stuff's brilliant. So yeah, what else is there to say? Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're doing something really interesting right now, like knitting or spinning or something else like that, or just having a cup of tea. Truthfully, I'm not very good at doing one thing at a time. I have to be, if I'm spinning, I can't just spin. I have to be watching or listening to something, or same with knitting. So maybe you're knitting away, maybe you're knitting a hat, maybe you're knitting a sock, but let me know what you're doing, and hopefully I shall see you in the next podcast, and I will have something else to talk about. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.